Alright, so they're back once again with Kyogre in Pokemon Go as one of the raid bosses, but we're also going to talk about Raikou, and for God's sake, I was always calling this thing Raikou. My whole world's been turned upside down. Apparently it's Raikou, but even the anime was calling it Raikou at some points. The anime, sometimes hit or miss. That's usually where I get my pronunciations. Anyway, let's get on with the video. Kyogre, we'll start out with that, of course, since it's the current raid boss. It packs a punch, but it can actually be done in a trio if the team is like super optimized, strong, and all that, maybe with weather boosting thrown in there. So per usual, I do have some notes and everything, so you'll see me occasionally looking down to read those. I don't like to deceive people. I am gonna be looking at some notes. So otherwise, if you are not in the elites, just stick with like 5 to 7 different people minimum, and most even decent teams should be able to beat it at that point. So the supreme counters would be Raikou. Funny that we don't get that first, but make sure that of course, if you're gonna use Raikou, it has Wild Charge as its charge move. So that would be the best. Then you could use Electivire with Thunder Shock and Wild Charge, but you could also use Rose Raid and Magnezone as well with the right moves. And so I'm gonna put some video on screen of recent raids that I did against Kyogre. It's sort of to demonstrate how flimsy or how strong some Pokemon can be and how different levels of teams, like 6 people or 12 people, obviously we're gonna beat it with like 12 and above, but just to kind of show what those look like. And I actually sometimes will have 2 accounts, one I was playing with my dad, and so we have his account, and then another one we have mine, and so mine's a little bit more optimized, his would be a little bit different, to show you all different 50 shades of Kyogre, I guess. Now, if you were gonna trio it, definitely max out your team maybe of like 6 or even 12 Raikou with optimized moves. By 12, I mean like you'd be able to respawn after you need to rejoin the battle with another fully charged up, or fully powered up team of 6 Raikou as well after that. I, of course, will say many of us do not have that option, so let's go with something a little bit more realistic to say. Use the weather boost, of course, to your advantage. In Texas, I get a lot of sunny weather, so the game has been recommending me a lot of grass-type Pokemon, and that can be okay until you have to go up against Kyogre with Blizzard. I've only done like 3 to 4 raids on Kyogre since this Encore, since it's come back, and guess what? Like 75% of the time, it had Blizzard. That was always fun. So clearly your grass type's gonna be weak to Blizzard. I mean, we can kind of properly dodge a little bit better now in raids, so you could use the dodge to your advantage in that respect if it ends up being Blizzard. You're also not always gonna know which move it has. Pokemon Go has kind of changed how they recommend the team to you, so like when you first start up a raid, it'll say like recommended team. And so they used to do it based on the charge move of the raid boss, but now I think they do it differently. It's like weather boosting plays in there and some other factors. So after all of that battling is done, hopefully this video that I have here of the gameplay can show you just some optimized throws. It shouldn't be too hard to hit, but sometimes it was for me, just when I was operating 2 Pokemon Go accounts and not really focusing on where the catch circle center point is. Go for the nose. It's like punching a shark, which I feel that you should never ever do in real life. But anyway, I hope that you guys get it. Of course, there's shinies out there. Otherwise, Kyogre, great addition to have to your team. It really is. So definitely for water types, good one to add in there. So, hooray us, we unlocked Raikou Day. That's gonna be Saturday, June 29th, coming up kinda soon. It's gonna be basically 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. your local time. So that gives you a pretty good chance to catch as many Raikou as possible, and I do recommend that. It's an important member to have in your electric arsenal for sure, so I'd say get as many as you can, shiny or not. It's the premier electric type attacker, a little bit less attack stat than Zapdos, but it can learn Wild Charge, which Zapdos can't have as a charge move. That really does make a difference. So I'd say, Zapdos and Raikou can go hand in hand, but Zapdos does have the flying type thrown in there. That makes it either weak or strong in certain situations where Raikou isn't. The best counter is gonna be Groudon, hands down, with Mudshot and Earthquake. Rhyperior could be a good next choice with Mud Slap and Earthquake specifically. If you do go down the list from here though, you're gonna wanna kind of continue on this trend and use ground type Pokemon. Mamoswine, Donphan actually, Golem with ground moves, and hopefully that helps you out, you know. Again, those latter ones were not the fully optimal ones, but if you don't have a Groudon, let's say, especially if you're returning and haven't played in a long time. So actually, you know, let's say that you don't have any of that. And again, I really stress that point so that I'm not advocating for the next few Pokemon to be the best counters, but maybe go, if you don't have any of those that I just mentioned, maybe go with like a Dragonite with dragon moves, Executor possibly, and if you're really down and out and you just don't have too many Pokemon, maybe try for a Nidoking and Machamp. But again, I really stress that it's much better to have the ground type Pokemon listed before. And so once you catch your Raikou, of course, optimize most of them or some of them with Thunder Shock and Wild Charge as the 2 moves. But oddly enough, it can learn Shadow Ball as another charge move. Maybe if you need a Raikou that's more just generalist or something like that, Shadow Ball's the answer for it. You know, that's an option. But again, probably best to optimize it with those electric attacks. I hope that you guys get mini shinies of either of them if you're looking for them, but definitely I would say you should be looking for Raikou. Take this opportunity to add as many as you can to your roster. I hope this video helps you guys out. Let me know if you have any questions about anything Pokemon Go. We can answer them in future videos. I will catch you guys on the next vid, and thanks for viewing.